Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by DrRoto.com.
So let's get to it.
Bring the pain!
What's up, everybody? It's Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you and Dr. Roto this week. Ooh, yeah. As you see, I have a special guest on. You read it. It's a subscriber spotlight. It's Ninja Posse. Not only is he a subscriber, he is one of 2 champions of the world. The first ever Chop League at Dr. Roto. What up, Ninja Posse?
What up? How you doing, man? Good to finally get on the horn with you. So hang on one second. Of course, somebody's got to call me as soon as it starts.
Look at that right there. I got your shirt in, butter. I got it right there.
Oh, can't wait to get that.
I like it. It looks great. I'm actually wearing mine as well too right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to go with the yellow, but I wanted the blue, and my wife was like, she got a blue one too. I was like, all right, I'll get a blue one so I match you. You know.
Yeah. Well, I almost got the which one did I get? I got that kind of like that poly material stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, this feels good. This is the relaxed fit. Because,
relaxed fit.
Yeah, you almost gotta go with that sometimes. It's like I like the t-shirt feel, but the problem for me is like because I'm like karate, sometimes they don't fit. So like they don't fit right or something. So I have to practically go with something like this. Yeah.
No, it's good. I'm looking forward to getting it. I'll be sporting it a lot.
Yay, this one. I thank you for that, man. And I'm just happy that, it was really cool. It was unique how we just ended up saying we were going to go with 8 and that in the Chop League. So we did 2 divisions. So you had a chance to actually win almost 2 shirts.
I know. Yeah. If it hadn't have been for the, I just didn't pay attention to the fab, and I thought we had $1,000, and it was actually, what was it, about 300 or 200 or something like that? So I spent mine in like the first 2 weeks. So yeah, I was like, couldn't do much after that.
Yeah. And then what was funny is when I duplicated the league, it didn't dupe anything. So we went into it and it was 1,000 the second round. I was like, what? And then I made everybody by hand. It was wild.
Oh, it's all good, man. It was a blast. I had fun.
So is there kind of like a background to the name Ninja Posse?
There is. It goes back to my college days. So I played basketball at Heidelberg University in Tiffin, Ohio, but we had a group of buddies, that we hung out. We always had a good time, got a little wild and crazy on the weekend. So one time for some reason, I can't remember why, but we all dressed in black, and it was Halloween, and we went to this local town where they're having a big Halloween downtown parade or something like that. And so we're on the way down there, and we're like, drinking, we're having a good time. So we're like, well, what are we going to go? We're like a group of like 8 guys. We're like, well, what are we going to call ourselves when we get down there? I mean, so we're all looking around. Well, we got black on. We're like, we're a posse. So why not be the Ninja Posse? And that thing has stuck since about 1990. And we still call ourselves that to this day. So I use it a lot, as you can see on my team names and my screen names and all that kind of stuff. So it's been a long running thing for about 32, 33 years now.
That's amazing. And by any chance, do you have a fantasy football league with these same gentlemen?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So I run one through CBS Sports, and got most of them do play. Some of the guys don't like playing fantasy football, which is fine. But yeah, so I got a good amount of guys that are on that. So yeah, we collaborate a lot every year.
I bet you do. Trades, right? No,
that's what I wish we did more of. Yeah, my league, we don't trade enough, so I wish we did more of that.
Yeah, it is like a taboo. A lot of fantasy leagues think it's taboo or don't allow it. I think it's kind of fun. But then there was a couple of years ago where I was able to, when Jonathan Taylor was out for the first 5 games, and I had drafted DeAndre Swift. I like to draft running backs, as you know, and then I sometimes will trade them. Well, so I traded DeAndre Swift for Jonathan Taylor, and the dude's like, look, guys, I'm 1-2. I don't know if he's coming back in 2 weeks. I have no running backs. My other running back just got injured. DeAndre Swift is doing good work. So then he got him, and then he did work. He worked out, but then eventually Taylor came back and helped me win some money that year. So
Perfect. Yeah. No, there's I do allow trades in the league, and there's trades that
Mhm.
are offered. Sometimes there's somewhat ridiculous, which I think is why a lot of people don't accept the trades anymore. But I don't know. I'll probably have to think of something next year to incentivize trades a little bit more, just to kind of keep it fresh and everybody having a good time. So because I try to change up the rules every year just a little bit. Like
Okay.
this year I put in a little extra for tight ends. For like
Yep.
a point and a half per reception, up to like I think it was up to like I think it was after 3 receptions, or I can't remember. It was something like that. But anyway, there was a point and a half per reception for the
Okay.
tight ends. Added a little bit more in there for like we do the kickers in the defense. The guys
Yeah.
love it, so we do the kickers in the defense. So I add a little bit more for the kickers. If they kick a 50, 60-yard field goal, then they're going to get bonus points for that. So it keeps
That's
that a
cool.
little bit exciting too as well. So yeah.
It's always great. So have you read the book by Kevin Murray, his commissioner's sport playbook? It's
No.
where he wrote. So it's a whole book dedicated to everything fantasy football,
Really?
different setups, different rules, different hazings, wins, all this really stuff. It was a really good read. Kevin's the guy from Trophy Smack.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I met him at the Fantasy Football Expo, which, by the way,
Yeah.
do you go to the expo?
I don't, man. I don't. That's Vegas, right? Every year.
No, it's in
Oh
Canton,
no.
Ohio. Bob
Oh, it
Lung runs
is.
it. It's the week after the Fantasy Football Expo is the week after the Hall of Fame game. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't know that. I did. Well,
yeah,
I knew they do something up in Vegas every year, and I think it's just a big draft that they do
yeah.
through
That's the circuit, I think.
FFPC or something like that. But
That too.
yeah, exactly. So no, but no, I've never ever been to that. I mean, we've moved. I lived in Ohio for a while, but before I really got into fantasy, we had moved here to Phoenix. So I've been in Phoenix for 24 years. So we don't go back to Ohio as much as we used to.
Oh, so you're currently stationed. You live in Phoenix right now.
Yeah, I live in Phoenix. Yeah, we've been out here for a while.
Okay.
So
All
yeah,
right. Well, then, yeah, that's not going to work too well for you.
yeah, no, not at all. Now, if I still live there and if I was into it, oh hell yeah, I'd be there every day or every week,
Yeah,
every
yeah,
year, I should
yeah,
say.
dude.
Yeah.
You would have had such a great time because that's where you meet everybody. Like I mean, Doc hasn't been able to come up there yet, but
Hmm.
like Nick Bonacano from Sirius
Oh,
XM,
okay.
everybody, Bob Harris. Bob's an amazing dude. You would love Bob Harris, dude.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
I can't speak enough for him. The one year I missed, Jeff Mans was there. He hasn't been back since. Maybe he comes
Oh,
back. I actually gotten to a point where my co-host for the Fight Club of Pain, Dan, comes with me now because I was just going
okay.
alone,
Hmm.
and now it's like a controlled chaos. But it's just, but we've driven home both nights, and both times. One time he went home and a semi was derailed off the highway. The
Oh,
next time I went
jeez.
home and I was going through a construction zone and there were signs and this sign was in the way and I hit the curb and
Oh,
it
okay.
just was this whole thing. But nothing happened. We were
Yeah.
both safe. So it's
Yep.
kind of
That's
one of
good.
those, yeah. But it's just fun stuff. But it's a hell of a time. It is good. But I do see you're a Bengals fan. Have you been a Bengals fan all your life?
Well, I'll be honest with you. This is we do follow the Bengals, but
Mhm.
I'm more of a Dallas Cowboy fan. So
Okay.
when I was real young, back in preteen days, we lived in Irving, Texas, and played soccer in the old Dallas Cowboy Stadium. So I've been a Dallas Cowboy fan all my life.
Okay.
If I were to call a secondary team, it would be the Bengals. Yeah, so we follow them a lot.
That's awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
people always have kind of secondary teams. So my wife, Chrissy Ray, she is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, but her dad grew up always favoriting the
Hmm.
Redskins slash Commanders now. And my dad was the same thing too. So I kind of always thought it was fun. My dad said back in the day when they did a trade or something like that, the one
Hmm.
coach from the Rams went to go coach in Washington and he took players with him or something like that. I don't know. I never did the research in it, but I did research the reason why he ended up switching from the Packers to being a Rams fan. And
Yep.
that actually is true. So maybe there is some truth to it. But he said he liked watching those players. So he went over there and he would watch those players and they were skins. So
Hmm.
that's how it kind of did. So it was kind of a cool thing. So I think that everybody kind of always has like a affinity to a second team, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you almost, I mean, to me, you almost have to have at least some sort of backup team, not a backup team, but just another team to root for. Because
Yeah, yeah.
the Cowboys aren't on every week, and obviously they don't make the playoffs hardly anymore either. So it's
Oh,
got to find somebody else to kind of root for. But yeah, I
mhm.
mean we have a family of football fans. My wife is actually, she grew up in Parma, but she's a big Pittsburgh Steeler fan. So it's yeah, we have a good time during the year going back and forth with some of that stuff.
It is. It is.
Hmm.
On top of wrestling, and then of course we do. I
Yeah.
talk about maybe not so much. You guys notice that I actually know DJ Magic Mike, and he throws a lot of Twitch parties. So one of my oldest friends is mods for him, and he comes up and we meet. And my friends go down there. It's just like a really cool thing to know
Hmm.
somebody like that. But like she does that, so it's like music, football, and WWE wrestling.
Yeah.
And my wife is straight deep in wrestling, and I was like, it made it so much easier, just like, being married to her, because we don't have differences. We love football,
Right.
me
Yep.
so much more, but wrestling is like that common core that we have.
Hmm.
Does everybody watch wrestling in your family?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, everybody does. It's my wife's a big fan of the Samoan guys, so the Bloodline, Roman Reigns
Yeah.
and Jey Uso and those guys. She loves watching those guys. She's a big Cody Rhodes fan too as well. So yeah, we always
Yeah.
have a good time. Like we for the Royal Rumble, we pick names out of hats, so
Okay.
see who would win, and then whoever
Mhm.
won, you obviously got a prize. Like, I don't know, you pick a dessert, you pick a drink or whatever, and the
Mhm.
other people have to make it for them. So.
No, it's stuff like we would always do wrestling parties. My dad started doing parties. We watched the
Hmm.
first WrestleMania together as a family. Then, WrestleMania 2 was crazy. But when WrestleMania 3 came out, my dad was like, "Hey, I'm buying this. Your friends love wrestling. Do you think your friends would let your friends come over on a school night, whatever not, and watch WrestleMania, their parents?" And it
Hmm.
did. So he grabbed a bunch of wings, a bunch of pizza. We're talking 50 wings for $8, man. And
Yeah.
we had
Wow.
like 200, I know, 200
The good
wings.
old days.
We was in it. We
Yeah,
was just
exactly.
we was doing it. We was watching wrestling. We were just having fun. Then afterwards, we go wrestle while everybody was getting kind of walked home. And then it
Hmm.
would always be like me and my buddy Dave, and then because he lived on 31st, I lived on 32nd, so we
Okay.
would always get about halfway, and then he
Hmm.
would walk home, and then I would walk home up my block. So it
Okay.
was kind of like one of those things. We always did a round table, took everybody home, and then me and him would split. And it was just the way that it was. We weren't worried about being kidnapped or anything like that.
Hmm.
It's what wrestling did. It brought me and my
Yeah.
friends together. Video games as well too. I'm a
Hmm.
huge gamer. Do you play video games?
I'm not. I'll be honest with you. I mean, we have, we did the Wii thing, and then my son he's a PS player, so he likes playing that kind of stuff. But I
Yeah.
never, when I was real young, and video games started really getting popular out there. I would play a lot, and there were times, quite honestly, when I would like skip work for a day
Yeah.
because I was playing. I was doing either WWE or I was doing Madden or something like that. And then I was
Mhm.
like, I don't know if I can't sustain this, just starting to play at like 8 in the morning and then just go until 8 p.m. at night. And
Yeah.
it went by so fast. I mean, you're having a great time. And before you know it, your day's done. So not to say
Yeah.
I swore off video games, but I kind of backed away from doing that because of that, for that reason.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it
back
could
then it,
go on.
it, it was so yeah, so I'm not really a gamer, no, not at all. It's but I do enjoy, like, when my son gets his games out, well, I'll play with him every once in a while.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I
Hmm.
mean, there's still that. That's kind of like my wife's kind of that way. She loves the Wario games for the Wii. So and
Hmm.
then so
Yeah.
since we have the Switch, we bought the new Wario because she loves smooth moves. And it
Yeah,
is a fun game. It's a fun
it
game.
is. Hmm.
And so when you so you've played it then.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
Yep.
the Wario, I'm not sure. Which one was that? Was that the one with the swords that you could fight?
Well, it was a bunch of mini games practically.
Oh,
And you would
okay,
just
okay, yeah, yeah. No, I never did play that one then.
yeah, it's pretty fun. But like for her, she likes games like that with the motion sensors. And
Hmm.
then now that we have the Switch, so we have because we have the new Wario for that one now, and she goes and she loves playing that because you can just hold the little controller. She's kind
Okay.
of eased out of playing games like Mario where you have to hit buttons. It just
Hmm.
doesn't work with her. but
Right.
she did for a while play Diablo 2. And so
Oh,
we
okay.
were playing Diablo 2 all day and night, like you were
Yeah.
talking about.
Well, time just flies when you play it, and it's just, yeah, you don't realize it. But
No,
yeah,
we would
those.
just we'd be sitting actually where I'm sitting right now, and we
Mhm.
before I put these bookcases right here, this was a whole line of computer monitors just
Oh
all, and
yeah.
anybody could just come over to my house, sit down, and we could just start playing Diablo 2. And it
Right.
happened a lot. We'd be drinking
Mhm.
beers playing Diablo 2.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's yeah. It was like I said. It was. I had a blast doing it, but I just I started to shirk my responsibilities. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to back off a little bit here, and
Yeah.
just never really got back into it. So.
Yeah, I was
Mhm.
always a late night gamer, so I would always
Yeah.
have a second shift job, of course. Come
Oh,
home,
nice.
unwind, put the game on. I'd eat,
Yeah.
probably play games till 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and then go. When I was growing up, my friends, of course, would be there for the wrestling, and when they would sleep over, we would just play video games all day and night. Go play sports, go back and play video games. It's all me and my friends honestly did. We didn't
Right.
have like a lot of friends that did like early age drinking or drugs. We were
Yeah.
all nerds. We were all sport nerds and
Mhm.
video game nerds. So it was just kind of strange. And we love movies, man.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Movies are, yeah. We're big into movies. Obviously, the whole streaming thing that's going on right now. We the Netflix, the HBO Max, whatever it is.
mhm.
We're always finding a show on there that we can binge watch and have a good time with. But I've been a movie fiend all my life. I've
Awesome.
always loved it. Big action movie fan, horror movie fan. So
Mhm.
that's what I enjoy.
Dude, so we had this place called Real Entertainment, pretty much like your Hollywood videos and stuff, but they
Yep.
they finally invented this thing called they went to their old movies and they did
Hmm.
5 movies, 5 days, $5. So me and my friends would scrounge $5 together. We would go down and we would pick five of the worst movies. And this is where I ended up buying a lot of the kung fu flicks that I rented. The whole
Hmm.
line, I have it. It's the whole Wu-Tang line. So it has like the Wu-Tang Clan rapping at the beginning. So I get
Okay.
each of the videos, kind of
Yeah.
cool. And
Hmm.
then we watched a lot of horror flicks. So like
Yep.
one that was memorable was Three on a Meat Hook. That was a bad one. Just
I've never heard of that one. That's Three on a Meat Hook. I love the title.
it's like it's like Psycho. It's like a very bad Psycho.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's one scene that stuck out, and of course you're not going to see. But if you ever do go watch Three on a Meat Hook, it's a
I'm gonna have to
shower
do that.
scene,
Yeah.
and the one girl gets to go get killed, and it goes to a whole black screen. You know how they would do the black screen, and there's like hand holding a knife, and then it plays an out of tune guitar. It goes, blah, 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 and then you see blood hitting
Yeah.
the drain, and you're like,
Oh
what was
gosh.
that? Oh,
Gotta love the low budget ones. I
those are the best.
Yeah, yeah. We were big on the zombie movies. So we would find zombie movies that nobody even heard of before, like, The Blind Dead or something like that.
Mhm.
And just watch it, and just most of it was just laughing about how bad the actual movie was. But
Yes.
we enjoyed doing that. That was like a weekend thing for us. The town I grew up in was Van Wert, Ohio,
Mhm,
which is right on the Indiana border. If you ever heard of Fort Wayne, Indiana, it's like right over the border in
mhm.
Ohio.
Okay.
But it's a town of like 10,000 people, 15,000 people. So not a whole
Okay.
lot to do there unless you pick up and you drive up to Toledo or something like that. So yeah, it was a lot of movie watching for us
That's
on the
amazing,
weekends.
dude.
Yeah.
So then you and your friends, you guys do quotes, I assume, right? You'll look over and you're like,
Oh
is that
yeah.
Velvet?
Yeah.
Like from Melda. Dude, we used to like and what's crazy is people like us. I don't know if you've ever experienced this in your entire life. I'll literally be places and I'll say stuff and nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Nobody. And I'm
Hmm.
like, are me and my friends the only people in the world that know about this or
Yeah.
do this? But I know we're
Hmm.
not.
No,
So
no, I got a group of guys I play poker with every month, and
okay.
it's the whole night is a lot of like just taking quotes from movies, and you know, yeah, just whatever the context is, just taking quotes from movies, and sometimes they're just so perfectly laid out there that you just can't stop but laugh.
Yeah.
So
you're sitting there playing cards, and you get down to where it's you and the other guy, and you go, "One shall stand, one shall fall." And,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
your friend will claim, like, "Why throw away your life so recklessly?"
Yes, exactly, exactly. Well, the big one is the John Malkovich in Rounders. You know, just quoting
Okay.
him and some of the things that he would say, like he beat the beat, he beat the meat. You know, when we're playing poker, so we do a lot of that. So it's fun. We have a good time with
It is.
that.
So, do you have a favorite movie? Could be a different day. What movies always kind of found that complete is a complete movie for you?
You know, probably my favorite movie of all time was Die Hard.
Mm,
Uh, it was one of those movies where you weren't where when I went to see it, I wasn't sure what to expect. You know,
yeah,
because Bruce Willis is coming out of what was he in Moonlighting on
yeah,
TV. He wasn't really known as an action hero, and
yeah,
then getting you're not even 10 minutes into that movie, and it's got you just kind of like sucked in, and that's one of those movies where you can no matter what part it's on on the TV. If you're flipping
yeah,
through and you find it, you could sit down and just watch it and just
yeah.
enjoy it. So, Die Hard's one of those movies for me. The Karate Kid was a big one. That's kind of like the nostalgic one. And when I was
Yeah.
growing up, because that's in the '80s, I was in high school and all that kind of stuff, and it's the good the feel good story. Kid is bullied the whole time, and then he finally gets his way in the end, sort of thing.
Yep.
So yeah, there's that's probably Die Hard is probably my favorite action movie. Um, but there's so
Mhm.
many of them. There's so many of them out there. It's just hard to pinpoint.
Yeah,
But
my
the
dad
one that always pops up in my mind when people ask me, it's Die Hard.
it's Die Hard. I gotta
Yeah.
I gotta give it. My one buddy Keith, he's a huge movie guy, and
Hmm.
Keith is the cousin of my oldest friend of all time, Dave, who I was talking about, that me and Mike and all that stuff. So those guys right there are kind of like my affinities. I straight up know, like, straight when I love movies, it's of course I'm an 80s kid, of course. Well,
Yep.
78 when I was born. I'm a Gladiator dude, so I Gladiator's been always been my affinity. But when you
Mm.
brought up Die Hard, I actually there's a Jet Li movie called Meltdown. It's done in the same context,
Yeah.
but a little change in the plot.
Hmm.
So if you like
Meltdown.
that,
That's a new one on me. So I'm gonna have
like
to
Jet
look that one
Li,
up. Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you already know what I'm talking. You already
Oh,
know,
I
like,
already know. Yeah. Well, you know Jet Li. Jet Li's yeah, exactly. He's yeah, big action guy. So.
woo,
Hmm.
I love that's me.
Yeah.
But like we grew up. I really like they try to recreate that 80s magic, but it's just never been recreated. The movies that we grew up, you could say from mid 80s to the early 90s, are
Hmm.
some of the most unforgettable movies of all time.
Yep.
All time. I
Well.
mean, it's Transformers the movie.
Yep.
It's still the
Hmm.
best Transformer movie out there.
Yeah. The original, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
And this was almost a rewrite. And
Right.
it made the whole GI Joe movie literally changed the whole outcome of GI Joe, and why Duke is supposedly killed is
Hmm.
because of what happened with Optimus Prime. So it shows the influence that, like, Transformers or movies like that at the time had other people just swaying because they're like,
Right.
dang, it was a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Well, and there's such a buildup back then to movies. I mean,
Mhm.
commercials or you go to the movie theater and you'd see the previews of upcoming movies out there. So people just get excited and couldn't
Yep.
wait until it came out. And then you got lines outside of movie theaters to catch the premiere of whatever movie's coming out. You don't see that much anymore because everybody's used to streaming things on their their
Mhm.
iPad or their phone or whatever. So which it isn't bad, I guess. I don't mind that, but you just don't get the same build up to movies like you used to.
No, actually, talking about a buildup and being a Cowboys fan, you might remember this. Do you remember when the New York Giants and the Cowboys, early 90s, were about to play for the division? But this was the Super Cowboys, so like the
Hmm.
Emmett
Hmm.
Cowboys,
Yeah,
and
the Aikman.
Tombstone was the movie coming out that week. So
Oh,
you remember the build
Tombstone.
that they used with Tombstone? I,
But I remember Tombstone, huge Cowboy fan, so I know all about the '90s Cowboys and all that. But I don't think I
uh,
remember what they did on the build up with Tombstone.
yeah, yeah. So to promote that movie, if you probably could go maybe find those commercials, or
Mm-hmm.
even the NFL. The NFL was promoting that Tombstone movie. And I want to say that this was the first round of the playoffs, or this was the last game of the season where it determined the divisional winner. It was a big game for the Giants and the Cowboys.
Right.
And all I remember is them just playing that Tombstone commercial left and right, going, we got the Tombstone. And they did their build up with the Tombstone for the game. And I'm like, this is great. And the Cowboys won. That I remember.
Yeah, that's that part I do remember. So another great movie too, by the way, Tombstone, man. That's one that you could watch anytime, any part that you come to, you could watch it. So,
dude, to this day, you know, Wyatt Earp was good.
Yeah.
But I still love Tombstone more because it just took that longer movie, made it shorter, but just added Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday, man.
Him, and then oh gosh, what's his name? Who played Ringo, Johnny Ringo on Tombstone? Can't think of his name. Michael Biehn. I mean, he played. I mean, those two were those two performances by Kilmer and Michael Biehn. I thought were so good. And you watch Wyatt Earp, and it's like Johnny Ringo's like he's like a side dish in the whole movie, you know.
Yeah.
So they don't have the build up with the whole Doc Holliday versus Johnny Ringo like they did with Tombstone. That was perfect. Yeah.
That right there. That and it's great because like a lot of people, I can't say that and relate to. You can, so you definitely do watch movies. And that's what I think a lot of people miss in lives like now is that sometimes I think we all get caught up in life and that we forget to go watch the movies like this, or maybe play a video game, or maybe join a Twitch stream, or maybe just go into the subs only Discord at Dr. Roto and see what Heat Override's crazy ass is talking about.
That's right. No doubt about it, man. I love watching your guys' recorded videos, man. Because I work, being 2 hours behind you all. I'm working when you guys are doing a lot of those. So afterwards, I'll tune in and listen and see what you guys have to say. Because I'm in Johnny Danger's PGA thing that he's got going on right now. I'm not a big golfer. I watch it here and there, but I don't know, anything above like the top 25 golfers. I have no clue who they are, if they're good. So I listened to his little podcast today just to get an idea like who are the bargains out there, when you're starting to put your lineups together.
Exactly. For me, I just try to look at like I go to their little write-ups. I'll watch their podcast and I'll take it and I'll just start like making lineups. And I've played golf. But the problem, and like I've also played NASCAR. NASCAR just kills me because one wreck will take like all your racers or 2 or 3 of your racers out. You're done.
That's true.
Just done. I hate it.
That's one I've never done. I've never done NASCAR.
Yeah. I like to get my hands in everything because we have the those edges, some of the tools to play with these other sports. So it's like, well, let me go check. Like I got a hockey lineup in right now. I don't even know.
Yeah, that's another one I've never done before either is hockey because I live in Arizona. I mean, hockey's not a real big sport here. We lost our hockey team. They moved them up to Utah where it made a little bit more sense. So that's a couple sports where I just haven't really dove in to try and play and see, if it's as much fun as like football or basketball or baseball or anything like that. So
as you've seen me typing up and talking about the UFC has completely captivated me in the last year. It can be a train wreck, like when they canceled the main event and you're like, oh well, that was not I was winning money. Now I'm not winning money. So it's like it's crazy, but then you get the betting side of it is just been so thrilling because we've been able to figure out a lot of these finishes and get them in. The Five-tastic picks went 5-0 this week. And I'm like, this isn't like what I think we might think is easy or we're taking a shot in the dark. It's actually like, it's like a perfect chaos within a sport. And but what gets me going is the numbers. Some of these knockouts, like when the sports books don't know, like they had Cortez Acosta at a plus 320 for a knockout in that Derek Lewis fight. And everybody knew it was going under, but they had missed that fact. They put the knockout at like a negative 240, but they missed on a few things because I think that sometimes we're so enthralled looking at the money lines, looking at significant strikes or trying to promote that. They don't see that they just let this plus 320 knockout go, or that they don't, or their expertise feels that that's not going to happen. And that's where I've been talking about, as you heard, is where the machines cannot duplicate a fight. And that's why I've been going into it.
Yeah, that's true. That's I've listened to a couple of your podcasts on that, and actually, what I typically do is I love doing prize picks, and they'll have the whole MMA side of it too as well. And every once in a while, they'll do that like freebie pick, where it's like one significant strike by somebody, and you can pick that, and then you can build a lineup along with that, knowing that I got a freebie here, so take information that you're giving me or that I'm reading, and try to build a lineup that could win some money. So I've been fairly successful with that.
Yeah, it's fun. It kind of what really gives me, and now I've also figured out too that being in Pennsylvania, me being able to parlay the prop bets, a lot of people haven't been able to do that, and a lot of sites don't have like a first and second round. I see DK is pushing that a lot more now. And so that gives you a chance at 2 rounds. And people go, well, that's just saying you're kind of like buying the pot. Well, if they offer the pot, why wouldn't you buy the pot? Right. And somebody like me, as you know, is going to dissect that fight and say, no, this fight's going to be over. Or if I feel that this fight's going to go longer, I'm going to have my action on the second to third round as opposed to the first to second round.
Yeah, and that's something I need to, now that football's over. Obviously, I was in like so many leagues in football I couldn't even keep up with myself. So, and then I kind of dove into basketball. I do enjoy doing like DFS on basketball, and even like on DraftKings and Underdog, you can draft a team every day. So I'm a big basketball guy. I grew up playing it my whole life, so I've been doing that. But I have wanted to kind of get a little bit more into that MMA, because it just seems like that's a little bit, I don't want to say easier, but it seems like there's I don't know how to put it, but it seems to me like in the few times that I have done it and I've won, it seems like there's a little bit higher chance of winning there. Maybe because it's such a small field, when you're betting on it, because there's only a certain amount of matches that are going on a weekend. And with information that you guys give us, we can, make good decisions.
So that's what we do. We focus on usually, like this week it'll be 3 to 4 fights, but for the main cards we always do the 5. But we have the information for all the other fights. So if someone goes in there and asks me, I'll run my models, or I'll just go right to it. I really don't need to run much off of it. I just need to go look at the fighter, and once I look at the fighter, it's like that. But most of the time, my sheet's done. When my sheet is done, it's practically done now. So tomorrow night, if some of the bets are out, I'll make it. But that makes it kind of hard because they wait on that sport a long time sometimes to get the bets out. So that's why, like the 5 tastic picks, by the time I'm running that article, I've absorbed the whole week of what's going on. And sometimes when those fights cancel, it's kind of crazy. But you brought up a big point. It's not easier. It can be harder. And you can have a one-hit knockout, kind of just like this last week. Cesale was completely ahead on the cards. He was outboxing Nakamura, and it took 1 strike to knock him out. Even the same thing with Rafael Fiziev. I had that fight going under. A lot of people had that fight going over. I had to respect that. So for me, it was hitting the knockout in points line, and I was able to get Fiziev at 105. I was able to get Rufi at a negative 108. Which is practically money on both sides. I played the knockout. Knockout was positive money. When we were doing the show, the knockout, submission, and points were all positive. That's like saying a touchdown, a field goal are positive to happen in a game. We'll give you a plus 120. Who wouldn't take that? It's easy money. So that's why I've been able to exploit it. If you looked at some of the, like I had this in the BSD and Dan Hooker fight, Benoit Saint Denis, that is. In that fight, they had a Hooker sub. It was a combination Hooker sub or Hooker knockout, BSD sub. Hooker just lost by sub. Hooker just lost by sub to BSD, and Hooker's only pathway to victory was knockout. So it was easy for me to play that bet at a plus 260, play the knockout at plus 550, and then play the sub which was a plus 360, along with the sub first and second round being a plus 300, 320, I think it was, for BSD. So, like I said, was one of the fights, and the Fizzy fight was one of the fights where statistically the site was completely wrong about the fight, and someone like me and Dan can completely exploit that 100%.
Nice. Yeah. I'll be tuning in more with you guys. So
yeah, because what do you want to do? Watch a ball go around? You want to be at your phone like this at Game Lock? Oh man, I hate basketball. Hockey's kind of like
I try not to do that. Yeah, I try not to do that, but I do. I do find myself like looking, thinking, what is he doing?
Yeah, you gotta check for basketball. They don't give out the lineups until like 2 minutes prior to the game. So you just gotta put your thing in, and then you gotta run to it. Football, you ain't gotta do that. You ain't gotta do that. In the MMA, you don't gotta do that. You just set and pretty much go. So I can't take that. So we're gonna deal with this. We got no baseball. So the MMA right now is the perfect time. That's why this is the time I got into it right after the Super Bowl. And it's just opened up a whole world of people that have come onto the podcast. Julius Juicebox Walker, who fights Saturday, will be covering the fight. And he's got a hard fight. He's going to be fighting Justin Jacoby. And Justin, this is not an easy fight for practically a rookie. So, but Juicebox beats him. He's going to look really good. So that's the stuff that we're going to hopefully be able to get with Juicebox, and just the type of things that can happen.
He's coming on your show?
He already did.
He already did? Okay.
Yeah, he came on my show about a month ago.
Oh, okay.
So I already had him.
Gotcha. Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. That's
yeah.
good.
So it's kind of that. I actually, I don't know. Do you watch, do you watch the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship or know about it?
No, I don't know anything about that.
Okay. So I had talked, actually my team, TKO Erie, sponsors Jessica Borga. I talked to her. She said she's willing to set aside 30 minutes to an hour. She's currently the champion in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Really? She's just recovering from a injury in her last, practically, it was a bad injury, and it wasn't really even a knockout. She practically just had to sit down and wave it off because it was just, she practically cracked her orbital bone right in there.
Oh, yeah.
So, but outside of that, yeah, she's gonna become.
I've heard of it, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't know when it's like on or televised or anything like that. So
that too.
That'd be interesting to watch, man.
Yeah, they got some big boys. They have a new. They have an event coming up in Philly. So what's probably going to happen if she goes to Philly? I wouldn't be surprised if my sensei was free. He would go to Philly too. But yeah, she's got our TKO Erie emblem right on the side, so it's just really cool. And that's kind of like, it was weird. Like all this fell into my lap, even though Jessica came through a few years ago and did the thing with her husband, Steve Shalosky, who's an ex-MMA fighter as well too. And, that's how I was able to, I didn't meet them in person because I missed that day, but I talked to them throughout the years, and that's where it all went. So it's kind of like it was the perfect thing for the MMA to come aboard and become a product of Dr. Roto, and just to be able to add something to do. And it's year round, and it's just fun. I don't really do anything on Saturday, and I don't watch college football. So for me, it's perfect.
Yeah, it is. Okay. Interesting. Cool.
So speaking of, go on.
No, I was going to ask you, one of the things I wanted to ask you today is, you're obviously on Dr. Roto's team. You're doing podcasts, you're always on Discord and things like that. How did you get to where you are today on Dr. Roto's team?
So
it interests me. So how I've been listening to Dr. Roto for 15 years probably. Him and like John Hansen, they were the first ones I started listening to when I was getting into fantasy football. So it was like, how did they get to this point where they're like every day they're just talking fantasy football or fantasy sports, and that's like got to be the greatest day in the world. You know what I mean?
It is. So it was. This is actually one of those things. I had sustained an injury, and I was laid off from my job, and then they told me they weren't coming back, but they were going to pay the unemployment. 3 weeks later, Dr. Roto called up and said, I'm starting drroto.com. I want to stop charging people all this money for all this, because it gets pricey at other sites. And he goes, and I just want to take it back. I want to be hands-on. I don't want, a lot of outside interferences being involved in the Dr. Roto chat. So it's always, like music, wrestling, and stuff like that. All we talk about, that's all we talk about. But no, if you've been listening to Dr. Roto, when him and Tommy G were on from midnight to 2 a.m., were you listening then?
I was listening then. Yeah, not consistently like every week, but I do remember him and Tommy G.
So my wife and I would call in constantly.
Okay.
And at first, Tommy didn't know what was going on. And Doc, it's a funny story because Kickman has told me this, because Kick used to call in too. And Willie would call in, and then they would sometimes have to follow me. So what happened is I called in, Tommy's thrown off. Doc is like, dude, Tommy's like, bro, we got to get this guy. Doc goes, no, just let this guy go. This is what he does. And I started talking shit. And I was like, this guy came out. He was supposed to get this thing. He's sitting here dropping balls. I was like, what kind of hooker? And, you know, Sirius XM is letting all this go through. And I'm not scared or anything. And I'm just going down. And Tommy's like, holy crap. So every time I called, I would get 60 seconds to bring the pain.
Okay. I got
you.
So
that's kind of where it was kind of like that, because I would always come on and be like, yo, everybody, this is Heat Override. What's up, Doc? It's Heat Override. You're not ready to bring the pain. And I would just go flying into it. And it became a thing. And then of course Tommy and Doc just started loving the wife. The wife was doing, I remember one time I came home from a fantasy football draft. It was super late, and there was 2 eggs on the fish tank. 2 eggs, uncooked eggs on the fish tank. And I'm like, what is this? Like, what just happened? And so they did stuff. I got kicked off for a week. But me and Doc kind of like did stuff. So I started Married with TFS, where me and Chrissy Ray would talk fantasy football for free, and I would give out my picks, practically like the cheat sheet format that you would have. And so Doc and me had talked for years, and Doc was always like, and there was, you know, so when he was with Scout Fantasy, we were behind. We had, you know, Cappy was there, Kickman was there, Fuego Steve, and we would all be in this chat room talking. And it would always be the craziest shit that would happen. But Doc was kind of seeing what was going on. Then when I was making calls like Kyle Kendricks is about to go 7 innings with 2 strikeouts. And so he took that. And that's when he started respecting me, and that, or, you know, started understanding that there was some like in my chaotic crazy, that there was some kind of genius there. And he called me up and said, hey, give me your phone number. I want to talk to you. And that's when he presented Dr. Roto, the drroto.com idea to me. And I was totally dumbfounded by the whole thing, taken off guard. And I had done something I've wanted to do, but would only get 4 or 5 views. And then for the podcast, I was practically top list, like top Kiss songs, top Rob Zombie songs. Then I was doing conspiracies. And then me and Chrissy Ray would practically just go live and drink beers and have fun. And Doc brought it all on. Doc said, just don't do conspiracies during the football season. Don't go get crazy. Don't get into politics, religion, stuff like that. Try to keep it kosher, because, you know, once we announce this site, people will view it that. And that's what I was kind of stepping away from the rest of the people that he had worked with over the years, that he just wanted to talk football, and that's why we kind of do that. You understand where I'm going with
that. I see where you're going. Yeah, absolutely.
So cool. That was it. But it was cool. And you're right. Like, I can't believe, and in all these years, Doc's only had to really put me in check a couple times, and it wasn't over bad things. It was just like his last one was when he first started reading the 5-tastic picks, and he's like, I understand what you're saying, but I don't know what you're saying, because you're a fighter talking fight. I don't fight. So I don't know what you're talking about. Like, if I say, if I'm going to throw a 1, 2, 3, what would you think? So a 1, 2, 3 is, you know, your jab, cross, and then hook, right? Okay. Me being, you know, a traditional stance, it's a left, right, left hook. So I made it a little easier. And that's what's gotten to where the 5 tactics pick. But we've talked other times, but that's like one of the last times that like we do it. So Doc comes in, he teaches me, and I can tell you, working with Lou and then working with Ted Chimes and the other people over the years as editors has given me what I feel some of the best writing skills without having a college degree to go with it.
Nice.
So,
Good, man. Well, congratulations. It's yeah, you're
it's
having fun, man. That's the key.
that is, and that's where it is. This isn't about money for me. It's about just having fun and being able to podcast with great people like yourself, being able to enter fantasy football contests with you and people like you in the Subs Only Discord and the rest of our rich friends in the world. And it's, for me, it's a challenge, but it's just that community that really keeps it together. And that's why I wanted to create this subscriber spotlight episodes, because for me, it was almost like a way to not only get to know you guys, but to find out things like you're a huge wrestling fan, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't know that on just, Discord back and forth. So
you did
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So who's your favorite wrestler of like, I mean, it may have changed. Who was the guy that growing up that you always you acted like?
That I acted like? Oh my
God.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I tell you, it was Big John Studd, man. I was I think it was the name more than anything. So just if you knew me well and we're good friends, I act pompous, but I'm not. So I just I like to act more confident than I actually am, and I just like Big John Studd, and the way he would carry himself, and obviously how big he was. I'm about 6'5", so I just enjoyed watching him wrestle. But then the other one was, and it just you could love him and hate him at the same time, but Ric Flair in his prime, right back when he was with TNT, or not, was it TNT? When he was with the Four Horsemen, he was part of TNA. Thank you. Yeah, he was part of the Four Horsemen, and it's just a guy you just couldn't take your eyes off of, because you knew he was going to say something funny, he was going to do something funny, and it was just loved it. Loved watching him. Loved watching him wrestle, man. Guy you love to see lose, but you hated it when he wasn't on.
Yeah, and he would just win, dude. So me and my friends, of course, as I talked about, we were huge WWE guys. My dad was just huge WWE. So we would always do the Macho Man. We'd come out and be like, and that's why I put that moniker in there. That's kind of like that. And for me, it was like growing up, man, I was a huge Hogan fan. My one buddy fell in love with the Warrior. I had the one guy that was an Undertaker fan. And it was just things that we loved watching. But like, man, I loved Coco Beware. I used to love him.
Yeah, Coco Beware. That's right. Yeah, Junkyard Dog walking around. My dad would just laugh, just hilariously at him, because walking around barking like he did, it was just hilarious. Yeah,
I mean, that was one of those things too. And then, dude, when you brought up Big John Studd, dude, he had like the salt and pepper chest hair. It was like yellow and dark brown. Like he was just frosting the front.
Big barrel-chested 6'8" guy. It was great. But I tell you,
it was always him and Andre back then, man. And like people forget about those battles.
Yeah, exactly. But my favorite wrestler of all time is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Just no part, there's no second place in that one. So he was the one I just loved to watch. That was kind of in my second, I guess, life of wrestling, because I watched wrestling a lot, through the 80s when Hogan and those guys were really big. And then when Hogan left and went to, thank you, WCW. I kind of, not that I lost interest. I was doing other things at that point, at college and stuff like that. So I just kind of lost interest in it. And then I got back into it in the early 90s. And that's when Stone Cold really started to get big. And when he was in his prime in the mid to late 90s, or early 2000s, there was just no better entertainer than he was.
So for me, I kind of lost because it was a Bill thing. We didn't have the technology we have now, people. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I would say it was actually about 2000 to 2004. We didn't have cable. So I missed that Brock Lesnar kind of coming in. I missed Eddie Guerrero winning the championship. I did miss that. I missed a little bit of Kurt Angle, but of course I knew a lot about Kurt Angle when he came in. And then of course I was there through the Bret Hart era, and then of course we ended up having to get 2 TVs to watch WCW, and then
Right.
WWF on 2 different channels because
Mm-hmm.
the Monday Night Wars. We just went in, and so for me growing up, it was like that. And then I kind of got out. And the day I actually came and haven't missed an event since was when JBL fought John Cena, and John Cena won his
And one
first.
of yeah, because everybody hated JBL back then.
Yeah,
he was a consummate bad guy.
yeah, and it was like everybody fell in love with him with the APA. But I'm like,
Yeah.
y'all forget how much of an asshole he was back then. He would always be booting someone out of nowhere. A big quad butt he has. A big quad
Yeah.
butt would just come
exactly.
grabbing through. And you're like, whoa.
yeah, no, that was I mean, you just think about some of the talent back then, when you had like The Rock and Stone Cold and Triple H and HBK and all those guys were big and they're all wrestling about the same time, and it's just like it doesn't seem like they can match that again. Just having all that. I mean, they're legends right now, so
yeah,
it's amazing. It's amazing.
You had the ministry, you had the corporate, you had DX,
Mm-hmm.
you had the Nation of Domination, you had the weirdos when the weirdos got together, like all those like Festus and all those guys,
Oh,
when all that happened, the oddities or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They had so many different groups, and that's been the great thing. But the big thing is fantasy football. Being part of Dr. Roto and doing fantasy football with Dr. Roto in your corner, has it made you fall in love more with fantasy football? Or, I mean, of course, it most likely has. Where is the combination of Dr. Roto and fantasy football taking you so far?
Well, I mean, just the intelligence or just the wisdom behind Dr. Roto and the guys that he has on his radio show and the website and everything just has given me. It gives you so much data that you're obviously a lot more confident when you're going into drafts or you're doing DFS and stuff like that. So being on the West Coast, I can't catch Dr. Roto's Saturday show when he's on live. I have to catch it. I do my yard work on Saturdays. So I tee him up and I listen to him for 2 hours and just kind of absorb everything that he tells me, because that's Saturday afternoon. So then that gives me the what I need to know to set lineups and put in my DFS or my prop bets and things like that with a lot more confidence, because you guys do so much research behind the information that you're giving us that I just don't have time to do to go into that kind of stuff, like understanding coverage shells and stuff like that, so to be able to read different articles like that and understand who's got a tough matchup coming up or who can overcome that, things like that just helps give me the edge when it comes to fantasy football. So I would say that's the biggest correlation there, is just ever since I started listening to him and getting more. I mean, I'm probably in a dozen fantasy leagues just this last year, so it was hard to kind of keep up with it, but just listening to him and reading his article and having that information in front of me, I was able to set lineups and win most of those leagues. So it's a lot of fun.
And it's funny because before I was completely with Dr. Roto. I had started this 9-year streak of not paying to be in this one league. So you could probably say that that's probably a bigger thing. Plus with the IDP, and I would talk IDP with Doc all the time. And, that's kind of why I'm the IDP guy with Doc. So for me, it was like kind of that, but it's almost like I'm untouchable. Not this last draft, the last year's draft. I practically just punted, and he did the tight end premium. So I went and I picked Laporta in the first round, and I picked Evan Ingram in the third round, and I still cashed. And it was like I challenged myself. Myself because the content that we have and just the camaraderie and being part of the community and seeing everybody's thoughts. It's like we're like the ninja posse. We're silent assassins. We're coming for that league money, bro.
Absolutely, man. No, it's just I look forward to it, during the football season, listening to his radio show. And then obviously as I have time, I'm on my phone or on my iPad, reading the articles throughout the week too, as well, to get better at that. So one of the things I think I'm going to try to dive into a little bit more this year is Major League Baseball. Because I know you guys do some coverage on that too as well, and just kind of see what I can do there. I've played it in the past, but I'll be honest, it's been like free leagues where it's just like, okay, I'll put a lineup in and whatever happens.
Yeah.
So I want to get a little bit more into that this year, and just because you got that space between basketball and the start of football where it's just all baseball, and not that I'm just not I've never been a baseball guy. So I want to give it a shot this year and just see how it can help me through that season and see how much fun it is. But
it's fun. Actually, I started a baseball league that's still going today, and that's what got me back into baseball as a person. So, baseball is a hell of a ride. I do the betting articles on the weekends. So when football started and I added the UFC, it was kind of wild. But all that stuff playing and talking about the site, what's something that we might not have that you would like to see in the future?
Well, honestly, I would like to see more basketball content. Just me being a basketball guy.
Okay.
Is more basketball content. Like one of the things with Fuego Steve, I kind of reached out to him at the beginning of the year, and I'm like, hey man, do you have like any? Because I was in a couple basketball leagues that I'm on.
I remember
Sleeper. I signed up, and he was like, I was like, do you have like a rankings list? And he goes, no, not really, not for. Not for a draft like that. He says, I'm more of a DFS guy when it comes to basketball. Yeah. So that's one of the things I'd like to see, because I really enjoy betting on basketball just because I understand the game so much, been playing it, my whole life. So I love doing the props, the DFS. I love doing the drafts, the daily drafts that you get with that too as well. So more basketball content would be great.
That's awesome. And that's stuff that, we look at. I was actually talking to Steve, because now I'm going to have one less podcast. So I said, well, maybe on Saturdays when I got a chance, maybe I was like, Steve, maybe you come on, or if Willie, I'll reach out to Willie, and maybe Willie can come on if we can set up a time. I don't know if this is possible, but to have a basketball podcast to kind of get out there to kind of, but they are DFS guys, but that's something you bring up, and that's I wish I could help with, but with everything now with UFC, I have no time to go watch. Right. Most of the time I'm fighting. Most of the time I'm at karate. So that for me is it's hard for me to be there at Game Lock. So it just makes sense that I just don't do it.
Yeah, because that's one thing you see on on fantasy sports radio. There's a lot of content on baseball, a lot of content on football. There's not much during the basketball season, where people are talking about it on a daily basis. So if it's the off season, they're talking off season football, or they're talking about, preseason baseball, so I'd love to see more basketball content. I know it's not as big of a fantasy draw as the other two are, but I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And that's something that could be like a simple something and stuff. So maybe we can get something together with that. Basketball's every day, that's the part that sucks. So like maybe a Saturday kind of thing,
it could be once a week. Yeah. Cause you could talk about the week, the week coming, who plays who, what the good matchups are, good defenses, bad defenses, whatever. But yeah. I mean, you're right. Probably just once a week. You can't really do it every day, but if you do it once a week, then I think it would be impactful.
Yeah. I wouldn't be pushing it aside. I wouldn't be pushing the Fight Club aside.
I wouldn't expect that.
No. We have some. We can have some fun. UFC's all year long, so believe me, you are not going to be unentertained going forward, because a little bit of that UFC. Maybe we get that basketball show going, or maybe I can figure something out myself where I can, figure out with Steve and them where we could do a weekly matchups and have that article hit on Sunday, or maybe a 15-minute podcast like you were just talking about on Sunday after I do my review show. That could be something that can definitely be done. So I like that idea, and that's why I wanted to do this series with the subscriber spotlights, is to talk to you guys, see what we're doing good, and see what would make it better. And you're the first guy to bring up basketball, and you're completely right. And I remember that. I remember you asking that question.
Yeah, I
stuff
did.
like
Yeah, because I think you even commented in on it too as well. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
it would be fun. I mean, that to me is that's my favorite sport. And I could watch basketball. You ask my wife, she gets sick of it, because I got the league pass right now, so I'm watching every game that I possibly can. Huge
You're
Celtics
in it.
fan, so I love watching the Celtics. So
That's awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're about at that hour. I don't want to keep you.
Yeah, we
too
are.
long.
Wow. Hmm.
That's what podcasting's all about, man. You just whoop right through
Yeah.
it. We
It's a
talked
great
about
time.
a lot. Even movies got in there.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't expect that, so it was fun, man. I enjoyed it.
Going forward, we will be doing a WrestleMania show. I
Oh,
can't
okay.
say if it'll be a Tuesday. Maybe I can make that something for like a Sunday after, like maybe I push my review podcast to the Tuesday. I do the wrestling show on a Sunday. That could be something too. With that show I'm talking about that I'm creating, I want it to be a roundtable discussion because sometimes, like last year for Royal Rumble, they did it DK, but they do a pool. It's a free pool. You pick wrestlers or finishes or outcomes, and you can win some money. I mean, the one year I won like $30, and I got one thing wrong. I would have won 450. So usually I win $5, $6, $7, $8, and then my wife plays and picks her picks. So it's really fun, and I like that. That adds a DFS kind of like aspect to the wrestling. We're making picks. We're talking about the event. So yeah, you will come on a podcast like that because
I'm up for that, man. That'd be fun. Yeah, I'd really look forward to that. So
awesome.
Cool.
I do want to thank you for coming on, man. It is an honor to talk to somebody like you. You won the first half, so you technically are the first winner of the first Chop League at Dr. Roto. So I do want to say congratulations, champion. Your shirt's
Thank you
right
very
there.
much.
Afterwards.
Yep.
Give me your address. I will mail this bad boy out to you, and you're going to be bringing the name to your area.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll get a lot of questions, and then I got a good story behind it. So, you want me to message you my address?
Yep. You can message me right after we're done with the show.
You got it. I'll do that.
All right,
hey,
brother.
Thanks a lot, man. It was an honor to be on your show. I look forward to doing it again soon.
Ooh, yeah. And you heard Ninja Posse. Get the Dr. Roto. Use code word WIN and be our rich friend because we have the right cure for all of your fantasy needs. Thanks a lot coming on, Ninja Posse. You're the man.
Thanks, Heat Over. I appreciate it, buddy. Okay.
Have a great day, everybody. And always remember to bring the pain. Ooh,
yeah.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. Until the next visit, be well and take care.